Hi, I'm Dave of DS Plumbing, and today we're going to look at a very quick annual check of your hot water tank. So what we have here is a gas hot water tank. There might be some extra things here compared to an electric, but generally speaking what we're going to do is come up to the unit here, have a very quick look at it, and go, okay, there's nothing jumping out at us. What I'd like to do is, if we're starting up at the top here, we can just have a look around all our plumbing fittings that are up the top here. What I'm looking for is to see that they're free of water. There's no water marks there. I come around the floor, and what I'm looking for is any signs of water on the floor here. And I'm also looking for any signs of dripping coming out from our blowdown tube here, and which is a safety device, or our valve. Now the valves there might be on different spots on different tanks. So that's our very quick overview. If we're not having leakage, that's great. There's no super emergencies. What we're going to do on this particular one, this is a gas unit. And so this little tube here is for a pressure sensor that's inside. And I'm not looking for anything special here. What I'm just looking to do is to feel the rubber and just make sure that it's not actually cracked or broken anywhere. Generally speaking, if you're going to find there's an issue there, your hot water tank won't work anyway. But if you happen to come up and find that it feels a little stiff or it looks like there's little cracks in it, it's something you might need to get a service person to come in and replace. Okay, so right now we're actually going to have a quick peek at the exhaust piping for this. Again, this is only applicable to the gas units. So what's going to happen here is we're having a quick look up along the pipe here. This white pipe is the new 636 standard that we've got, which is the newer material. What I'm looking for are cracks in the pipe, more expecting if we're going to have a problem, it's going to be the joints might themselves be cracked or loose or anything else. I'm not seeing anything here. If I'm not seeing any signs of fluid coming down here, generally this will be nice and solid and sound and great. More likely to have problems on some of the older black ABS pipes, or perhaps one of the lesser grade PVCs. What can happen is that the glues broke down with the exhaust gases, and so sometimes these can break, fall apart. If you physically see your pipe broken or actually apart, that's an immediate repair that has to get done, because that's a super life safety issue. And if anybody else comes in and sees this, we have to what we call red tag the furnace and get that replaced immediately. We're going to move on to our mixing valve. Again, we've already had our quick little look around the area for any drips or leakage. There's pretty much nothing we're going to do to this unless you've been experiencing problems with either not getting enough hot water, or the water's shooting out hot and then cooling off, or some other problem. But if you haven't been experiencing problems, it's just to basically look and see that it's there. Coming up to our valve here, this is our cold water supply valve, and this shuts off water. So what we want to do here is, generally speaking, we don't have to do anything with the valve. What I'd like to do is, actually, this is a lever valve, and I just want to turn it. And my reason for turning it here is just to make sure that I can turn it, and that by me turning it, I'm not having any leakage or water coming out. The reason I'd need to know where this is and to turn this off is, should the hot water tank experience a problem, or we've seen water on the floor, this would be the one spot I turn off to stop having a catastrophic flood of the basement. If you ever come down and notice your hot water tank is leaking, this would be the idea that you turn off, and away you go. So from there, what we're going to do is move down around the corner here again. So we've already pointed out that we were looking for signs of water drips or anything else coming off this pipe. This is our blowdown tube here, and this device right at the top. Sometimes these can be located on the top of the tank, but this is a safety device. This is a temperature and pressure relief valve, and this is designed to let water out of the hot water tank under conditions where, for whatever reason, the hot water tank doesn't stop heating, and the temperature rises to a point where it becomes lethal if it gets up there. There are videos that we end up watching where, left unchecked, the hot water tank can blow up and take half your house with it. So this is a very important valve. What we're going to do now is, I have a little glass jug here. This one's a useful kitchen one, basically for being able to take hot water. The reason being is, if I activate this, I'm going to get pretty much the same temperature hot water coming out of here as we're going to get. So scalding and burning are potential issues, but it's not a risk if you're careful about it. So what I'm going to do here is just put this at the bottom of the blowdown tube, and I'm going to come up here and I have a little trip lever. So the reason I'm wanting to do this is to just test it, because these shouldn't be too hard to move. They shouldn't stiffen and get solidified in there. So what I'm going to do is just going to activate this by just lifting it up, and I'm going to get a little bit of water coming out. So as you can see, I got some discolored water. So again, this discoloration is just corrosion that's building up on the inside of the mechanism in here. So it's good to flush that out. But what I want to do is, once I've activated that, I just want to see that it will, once I've let go of this, that it's actually going to stop dripping on its own. If this happens to stay open or keep dripping, it says that we've got some corrosion buildup or something in here that could be impairing this valve from actually working should it need to for safety. Which basically then means that if that valve isn't working, you now potentially have a critical hazard. So we look at our dirty water, and I can quickly empty this, and if we do that again, I should have clear water coming out, or mostly clear water. But if we look very quickly right now, there's no dripping coming out from the bottom, which is actually a great sign. Typically on these types of tubes, I would expect it to drip for a few seconds, but shouldn't be continual. So there we go, our second little blurb, and you can see that although we've got some air bubbles and stuff in there, it's pretty clear compared to the last one, so that's a great sign. Obviously something else I'm trying to do, again this can vary with your sense of smell, is literally just, because this is a gas unit, smell if I can have anything that smells kind of like rotten eggs, or any kind of bad smell that you would just query about. If you happen to come in this area and just happen to notice any waft of that, it could be a sign that there might be a bit of a gas leak. And again, you don't want that in your house, because when these things start up, that could create an explosive environment, or should someone else come down here with a lighter or have a smoke, or some other electrical device gets plugged in and creates a spark, if you've got gas in the area, kaboom, right? So it's not a nice thing to have happen. And that's pretty much it for your hot water tank.